Good evening, everybody. Tonight we're going to be looking at the passage from John chapter 12, verses 20 to 36. Jesus predicts his death. Now there were some Greeks among them who went up to worship at the festival. They came to Philip, who was from Bethsaida in Galilee, with a request. "Sir," they said, "we would like to see Jesus." Philip went to tell Andrew. Andrew and Philip in turn told Jesus. Jesus replied, "The hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified. Very truly I tell you, unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed. But if it dies, it produces many seeds. Anyone who loves their life will lose it, while anyone who hates their life in this world will keep it for eternal life. Whoever serves me must follow me, and where I am, my servant also will be. My Father will honour the one who serves me. Now my soul is troubled, and what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour? No, it was for this very reason I came to this hour. Father, glorify your name." Then a voice came from heaven. "I have glorified it, and I will glorify it again." The crowd that was there and heard it said that it had thundered. Others said an angel had spoken to him. Jesus said, "This voice was for your benefit, not mine. Now is the time for judgment on this world. Now the prince of this world will be driven out, and I, when I am lifted up from the earth, will draw all people to myself." He said this to show the kind of death that he was going to die. The crowd spoke up. "We have heard from the law that the Messiah will remain forever. So how can you say the Son of Man must be lifted up? Who is this Son of Man?" Then Jesus told them, "You are going to have the light just a little while longer. Walk while you have the light, before darkness overtakes you. Whoever walks in the dark does not know where they are going. Believe in the light while you have the light, so that you may become children of light." When he had finished speaking, Jesus left and hid himself from them. "Sir, we would like to see Jesus." Jesus is in Jerusalem. It's Passover, and the people wanting to see Jesus are Greeks, here for the festivities. Who were these Greeks? Perhaps they were travellers from the Greek-speaking regions of the Roman Empire. Possibly they were seekers of truth. Did they approach Philip because of his Greek name? Did Jesus agree to talk to them? And if so, how did that conversation go? The text doesn't answer my questions. Instead, we're drawn into an intimate revelation of the thoughts and feelings of the Son of Man, of Jesus, a few days before the execution that he knew was coming. Perhaps this inquiry from foreigners serves as a signal for him. The hour is coming for the Son of Man to be glorified. Did these Greeks stand in for the multitudes from every nation who would hear and believe the good news about Jesus, up to and including us in our time and place? I don't know about you, but I do know something of what these Greeks wanted. I know what it's like to want Jesus' presence, his guidance, his company. I know what it's like to want things from him: safety, health, stuff. I know what it is to be angry, to want a confrontation, to express my heartache, to try to understand why Jesus isn't who I want him to be. And I also know what it is to not want him at all, to just let my faith slide into the background of my life. Sir, we want to see Jesus. We would like to see Jesus. A simple request, but it cuts to the heart of our spiritual growth or our stagnation. Do we want to see Jesus right now? In this season of Lent, are we seeking Jesus? If so, which Jesus? The teacher, the healer, the troublemaker? If we're not seeking him, why not? Why is Jesus not on our radar at the moment? Does seeing him feel impossible just now? It's been a difficult year, and our experience of church is one step distant somehow. It comes via a screen which not everybody is happy engaging with. Or perhaps Jesus has become so familiar to us that the excitement that we felt when we first met has somehow just ebbed away. Immediately following the request from the Greeks, Jesus launches into this meditation on his death. He says that, in fact, his hour has come. The arrival of the Greeks is a sign. Like the first snowdrop means that spring is on the way. These visitors show where we are in God's timetable, and now there is no holding back for his plan. Jesus describes himself as a grain of wheat falling into the ground and dying in order to bear much fruit. And he's not just talking about himself. Although he must do what he must do, he stands alone against sin and death so that the rest of us won't have to. He's also leading the way along a path which his servants and followers must travel. He invites them to hate their life in this world in order to see the glory to come. He makes the truth about himself a truth about his followers. Will we hate our lives in this world? Will we follow him on that path to Calvary? Will we serve the Son in this way, and at what cost? Will we let the truth about the Son of Man become the truth about us? Because this is the way we see Jesus and the way that we show Jesus. He reveals himself to us as a person who goes to glory and bears much fruit by dying. That's what we see. And then he says, follow me, die with me, hate your life in this world, serve me. And if we do, then we show Christ to the world. And Christ means to be seen by the Greeks and by every other people group in the world. And the way he means for it to happen is by our becoming like him in his dying, so that others might see him in us. In fact, it's part of his challenge to us. If we really want to see Jesus, to get to know and understand him for ourselves, then we must get ready to be planted in the same way, to risk all in his service. He admits he's afraid. Now my soul is troubled. He doesn't go serenely and calmly to trial, torture and cross. Amongst the gathering forces of evil and darkness swirling around him, we see the conflict between the divine with his knowledge and obedience of God's plan and the all-too-human man who knows the pain to come and desperately wants another way. Is your picture of God big enough to accommodate this Jesus, this broken Jesus, the Jesus of Holy Week? The key to it all is the glory of the Father and the way that Jesus was committed to doing everything necessary to bring that glory about. He's come this far. He's prepared the ground, spoken of his Father's will and how the world is going to be saved. And he knows that it is through the coming danger that God's glory will shine out into every corner of the world. In a few days' time, many of us will gather online, some of us in person, to remember Jesus' death. As COVID restrictions allow, we'll meditate, pray, sing, weep. Alone or with others, we'll kneel in hope of entering the deep mystery of the crucifixion, in the hope of honouring what Jesus made possible when he was lifted up to the cross. I wonder, when it comes to it, especially for those of us who've grown up in the faith, whether somehow that outrageous scandal and the strangeness of Jesus' death has somehow faded away. Do we know any more which Jesus we want to see? Have we become too familiar with this part of Jesus' story? During my training, when I did my placement at St. James, I found Lent and Holy Week were given huge importance, and they had many services that I'd never been to or experienced before. I found the presence of a crucifix in the church with Christ on it very challenging and very moving. I found it a reminder at every service of exactly what it was that Jesus did for me. And it shook me out of my familiarity with the story, and it helped me to see with a new eyes what happened on Good Friday. Because God died. How outrageous is that? God died. Jesus willingly took the violence, the contempt, the hatred of this world, and he absorbed them into his own body. He chose to be the victim, the scapegoat, the sacrifice. He refused to waver in his message of universal love, grace and liberation, even knowing that that message would cost him his life. See his love nailed onto a cross, perfect and blameless life given as sacrifice. See him there, all in the name of love, broken yet glorious, all for the sake of us. They're words from a song James sings, I think written by Tim Hughes. But if we, like the Greeks, want to see Jesus, then we have to be willing to look at the cross. Jesus was, and is, so many things. As I've said, teacher, healer, companion, Lord. And it is important that we experience him as all these things. But if we really want to see him, to know him, then we have to realise that the centre, the heart of who he is revealed at the cross. Which means, do we flinch away from the Jesus of the Passion, the vulnerable, broken Jesus? Because just like the Jews of Jesus' time, we want somehow the muscular superhero Jesus instead. We want the dramatic rescue, the quick save. What we, or I, don't want is the discipline of waiting at the tomb, in the shadows, at the place where my questions far outnumber the answers. I'm impatient for resurrection, for Easter Sunday, and I tend to skip over everything that comes before. I don't think I'm alone. I think many of us struggle with the Jesus of Holy Week because he does look so different to what we expect from a saviour, and we're not entirely sure who it is we're looking for. At the end, I think what this passage shows is that we don't have to struggle to see Jesus. As he told those Greek seekers all those years ago, he is the one who draws and gathers people to himself. He is the one who allows himself to be lifted up to the cross, so that God, in his awesome, slightly scary otherness, comes close and becomes visible. In other words, Jesus wants to see me, to see us, even when we're not sure we want to see him. He loves us, whether we love him or not. It's still a struggle to see this sometimes. A struggle to understand that Jesus wants to see all of us far more urgently than we'll ever want to see him. We love because he loves first. We love because the cross draws us towards love, a power as compelling as it is mysterious. As we finish, I'd like us to listen to the words of the song as James sings and think about our broken, brave Jesus, his love for you and his longing to see you. Ask yourself, do I want to see Jesus? Which Jesus am I looking for?
See his love nailed onto a cross, perfect and blameless life given a sacrifice. See him there, all in the name of love, broken yet glorious, all for the sake of us. This is Jesus in his glory, King of heaven, dying for me. It is finished, he has done it. Death is beaten, heaven beckons me. Greater love no one could ever show, mercy so undeserved, freedom I should not know. All my sin, all of my hidden shame, died with him on that cross, eternity won for us. This is Jesus in his glory, King of heaven, dying for me. It is finished, he has done it. Death is beaten, heaven beckons me. Such love, such love,
Such love,
such love is this for me. Such love,
such love,
such love,
such love,
such love is this for me. Such love,
such love,
such love,
such love,
such love is this for me. Such love, such love, such love is this for me. me.